The Simpsons is one of the most influential animated shows of all time, if not one of the most influential shows of all time. So I rewatched what many writers consider to be the perfect sitcom episode, which is Springfield spelled with a $sign. I heard this at a writer's panel that they consider this particular episode to be a perfect sitcom episode, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little overhyped, but it was still really impressive. The jokes were great, it was a good story. It felt like, well, it very much felt like very smart people wrote it, and very creative people wrote it. Essentially, the story is to improve the economy of the town, they decide to set up a legalized gambling casino. And Marge is the one who gets addicted, even though she's usually considered the dissent, the devil's advocate. Homer keeps forgetting that. But it was an interesting story. Most of it is not told in a linear order. You get a lot of jokes about this world. You get, of course, Mr. Burns jokes and you get a setup about what the economy was like before, even before you get to the gambling plot, which was very, very interesting. I don't really have too much to say. It's a good episode. It was really tightly written. I like the setup. I know a lot of the characters became exaggerations and the less likable in later seasons, but here, they are so charming and they are so nice and they are a very hilariously dysfunctional family. I like all the twists and turns it takes. I like how Bart is kicked out of the casino by a douchebag usher. So he sets up his own in the treehouse. You don't even see the progression. You just see him do it. The guy's like, oh, guess he showed me. That's a great twist. And Bart's even able to get celebrity guests. Another great joke was where he says, cancel that Liza Minnelli impersonator. Turns out it was the real Liza Minnelli. Ugh. When the impersonators are more authentic than the real thing, that's pretty great. And The Simpsons came on a little bit before my time, so it is hard for me to see just how much of a game changer this really was, even though I get a little bit of that in theory. Now, because most of the shows in the 50s and 60s were these very Father Knows Best type shows, functional, wholesome families, like the Brady Bunch, for example, which that was on for a long time. Brady Bunch is one I never really got into, but still knew of it. And The Simpsons was this ultimate subversion of the Father Knows Best type. Oh, I Love Lucy, another one. And to the point where now the doofus dad is the stereotype that we can honestly change. So that's fascinating how that works. Sometimes the extreme swings in the other direction. As a kid, my favorite character was Bart, and I still like him a lot. He's very funny. Apparently he caused an outcry when The Simpsons was just coming out. Kind of hilarious to think about now. But I've seen mostly the early stuff. I haven't seen some of the later stuff that everyone condemns. But I see him as creative. I see him as he's a troublemaker, but he's not a delinquent. He doesn't feel mean anytime he does it. He feels like, oh, he's having fun, and he's being creative, and he's trying to solve a problem, or do the least amount of work possible. And I found that very funny. Even though my personality is a lot closer to Lisa's, I liked Bart because he was the mischievous character, and he could do stuff and get away with stuff that I really couldn't. So that was a lot of fun. I still like him a lot. His schemes are really funny. I do like Lisa a lot, too. I think she's so charming, and she's adorable, and so sweet, the voice of reason. What can you say about Homer and Marge? Everyone knows Homer and Marge. I feel like with how big this show is, I'm fascinated when I come across people who don't know these giant franchises. mean, granted, of course, not everyone's gonna know everything, but it's one of those things that I've taken for granted. It's been so there the whole time, so it's hard to believe sometimes when someone doesn't know, but it's very possible. And very, very likely. But it is definitely a show to learn from. It's a very well put together show. It's distinctive, it's unique, and I like this style of humor a lot. And I know a lot of people do, and I'm seeing it more and more. Gravity Falls, where Alex Hirsch admits to being a big Simpsons fan. You see a lot of that style of humor in the show, which, again, I really like. There's a lot of other stuff, too. That's just the first one that comes to mind, because I do see the similarities so closely. Oh, Rugrats was another one. I know someone in the comments told me that the studio behind Rugrats also did the first 3 seasons of The Simpsons, which is really cool. I wonder if they had similar writers, too. I gotta look that up. But overall, even though things have changed a lot since the early episodes of The Simpsons, and it's still with us, it is still a really good show to go back to. And it's cool to see what a mega influence it has. I'm impressed. I'm jealous. I want to learn from these really cool people.